Do it. Welcome to today's guided practice session. Today we're focusing on it's a lick. It's really a bit of language. You know, we say lick, but I hate that word because it just makes it seem so like ready-made. We can just insert it anywhere. And that's not really the case. This is a very rich and deep language in jazz, and it's specifically bebop. And that's what we're going to be covering today. We're going to be covering a very cool bit of Bud Powell language. This is from his amazing Bud Powell. This is from Oblivion. Or maybe it's The Genius. I always get those two confused. The one with the pink cover and Buddy Rich and Ray Brown. That one. This is it happens very, very quickly. It's a very fast song, Oblivion. And this happens in the blink of an eye. But to me, this encapsulates some really basic, easy things that Bud Powell was so keen on showing us, on unlocking for us here. So check it out. I want you to check it out. So this is a 3-6-2-5. We're in the key of E flat. So we have a little, it's one of these chestnuts, right? Where it starts to here, and then it goes 3, 6, and then 2. It has that dominant 7-2, right? So this is something that we get asked a lot about here at Open Studio. What the hell do I play over one of these secondary dominants? Like specifically this like F7, right? It's a 2 chord, but it's not F minor 7, it's F7. And some people play F7 sharp 11, right? So what we have here is something you can play on these things like F7 sharp 11, the Lydian dominant sound. Even though there's no sharp 11 in this lick at all, you could still do this little, is incredibly handy, and that is part of the language for one of these secondary dominants. A secondary dominant is when we take a chord that would be diatonically like an F minor, and it becomes a dominant chord. It's a little trick we do. So how does this lick sound? Right? That's it. Isn't that great? So 1, 2, 3, 4. Again, we're in the key of E flat. Just like that. This is so handy. So what's going on here? So we have our 3, right? G minor 7. We have our C7, and Bud Powell does this little flourish in there. You know, I wrote something that I feel was close enough. It happens very fast, so it could be right on it. He just kind of flicks his wrist into it, right? And then he works his way down to the 3rd of C7. Now he goes up that diminished arpeggio. E, G, B flat, D flat, right? That's the 3rd, 5th, 7th, and flat 9 of that C7. And then from here, he does a little enclosure to his target, C. This is an enclosure we've talked about here in these YouTube guided practice sessions, right? He goes a half step above his target and then approaches it from a whole step below chromatically, right? And then he works his way down to the 3rd of F7, just like he worked his way down to the 3rd of C7. He works his way down to the 3rd of F7, and then he does this little flourish. Now, I know for a fact the way to get the sound on this is, first of all, go back in time quite a bit and imagine that you smoked Marlboro Reds like I used to 25 years ago. Now, hold that pack of pretend Marlboro Red cigarettes. The brand is very important for the sound, by the way. It has to be Marlboro Red, Native American Spirits or whatever, the Parliament Lights. It's not going to cut it. Marlboro Reds, and you put them in there. Sorry, that's random. Put them in there. And imagine that you're holding that box in your hand, and you can literally just roll your hand, right? This is something that like Barry Harris talks a lot about. He actually had me do it. He saw that I had a pack of cigarettes in my jeans. He said, get your cigarettes out and put that box in your hand and flick your wrist, essentially keeping this like hammer claw and flick your wrist. That's like that, you know, Barry Harris, Hank Jones, you know, that's that sound, right? So imagine that that you just come to this shape, this F9 arpeggio shape, and you just lock it in, and you imagine you're holding a box of anything, cards or whatever, and you flick your wrist up from that A, and that's how you get that sound. That's how we can get some great speed as well. Just really quiet hands is what that does. It means that you're not like lifting your fingers way up. You're staying in the key bed, and you're just very subtly clicking that wrist. So it's not even a click of the wrist. It's just a little, you're just leaning that way, right? So let's try this. We'll try this in the key of E flat. I have it written down here too. Notice too, I put some nice little Bud Powell voicings in here, right? These little 2-note shell voicings. Man, that's it for me. It's so good. We don't really need anything else. So let's practice this 3-6-2-5 in the key of E flat. Let's practice our Bud Powell lick. We're going to start very slowly, and we're going to build up the tempo. The tempo on this on the record is quite fast. So we'll start at a little bit of a medium. 120. 1, 2, practice with me. 1, 2, 3, and. Let's try that again. Jeez. 3 and 2, 3, 4. Try not to rush that flourish. It's hard. Used to add tempo. It's hard to slow it down. 1, 2, 3, 4. Again, 3 and. 2, 3 and. 2, 3 and. 'Let's take it up. I'm already bored at that tempo. Right here. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, and. 2, 3 again. Let's loop it. Play with me. 2, 3 again. Oh, it just wants to creep forward and forward. Let's go with it. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, and. See, now it starts to feel good. That F9 arpeggio, that's where it's at. Ah. Not there. 1, 2, 3, again. Now we can really do that thing, right, where we imagine that there's a deck of cards or a cigarette box in our hand on that F9 arpeggio. If you watch my hand there, right, my fingers are curved. It's all there. And I just make a subtle movement towards the top of that hand. Let's try it again. 1, 2, 3, and. It only comes at faster tempos. It was so hard to do slow. I think it's such a great lick for those secondary dominants. It's such a pianistic thing. Let's keep going. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, and. Come on, 3, and. Flick of the wrist. One more time. All right, up and up and up. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, and. It's closer to the real tempo. What's so great about transcribing things that are fast like this, if you can hear them and you can transcribe them from tunes that are played at fast tempos, you can be pretty sure that the material played is playable at fast tempos, right? I mean, I know that Bud Powell has amazing chops, has amazing technique, and it doesn't mean that everybody can play that, but generally the lines are going to lay pretty well because even Bud needs to play lines that lay well on the piano. You know, we're not all just superhuman and can just play everything like Art Tatum. A lot of pianists rely on some ergonomical things that happen in their lines. So at this fast tempo, this is 250, you know, that's respectable for sure. This line lays great. It's super easy. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, and. It's nice. Getting better too. I mean, and also, again, an important part of this is that F7 arpeggio, where I'm literally just going from the thumb 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 5, and you can fly through that. Isn't that great? Hey, if you're digging this, why not hit the like button? Why not give us a subscribe? If you want to go a deeper dive on this course, we have Choose What You Pay available now for bebop enclosures for beginners. We cover everything you see here in that course in all 12 keys. There's a beautiful PDF workbook that goes along with that course. Very popular course. Let's take it up. Key of F. Same lick. You know, we like to hit a few keys around here. So again, this is a 3-6-2-5 in the key of F. So we have our 3. And we're just going to loop this. So great. And then again, I put some little Bud Powell root and half shell voicings down here. Check it out. Isn't that great? Let's try it. We won't start at 250. I promise you that. Start down here. Play with me. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, and. One more time. Hear this sound. So let's break this down. It's the same thing, but in the key of F. So we get to the 6th chord, right? The D7 flat 9. We have this little flourish into the 5. We work our way down to the 3 to the 3rd of D7, right? That F sharp. And then we go up, right? Our F sharp diminished arpeggio. I don't have it labeled here, but you can see that very clearly. 3, 5, 7, flat 9, right? And then that flat 9 starts an enclosure where our target note is D, where it's such a classic enclosure. And then from here, we're on the 5 of G7. We work our way down to the 3rd, and then again, a G9 arpeggio starting on the 3rd, where we just can kind of set up 1, 2, 3, 5, right? You can imagine you're holding that deck of cards or that very specific Marlboro Red cigarette butts and just flick it, you know? It's going to be easier, actually, once we start increasing the tempo. Let's try it again. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, and. One more time. One, two, 1, 2, 3, and. this, man. That is so handy. Like on those two chords that are secondary dominants, it comes in so handy. It's great. I mean, it's Donna Lee. There's so many heads that use that. Let's try it again. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, and. Let's take it up a little bit. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, and. 3, and. Woo! Last time. All right, one more tempo. About 244. 1, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, and. Flick that wrist at the end. Again, setting up here, curving the fingers. One, two, 1, 2, 3, and. One more time. So handy. I mean, that's as good as it gets. It's such basic, easy to understand bebop language, and the way Bud Powell plays it, first of all, is brilliant. Go check that out. It's Oblivion, Bud Powell. It's on Spotify and iTunes and all that stuff. Let's do one more key, eh? Let's do one more key. This key is not as forgiving as the first two keys. It's not at all as ergonomical, but that's good. We want to challenge ourselves a little bit. Challenge. So for this A7, this is what I'm talking about. You're not going to be able to go to your thumb and flick it like we were flicking the other ones. You're going to have to go down and do a bit of a cross under here. So on the A7, 3, 1, 2, 1. I'm going to go 2, 1, 3, 5, 2. So that arpeggio becomes 2, 1, 3, 5, 2. Now you can still roll it. You can still flick it a little bit, but it's a little trickier than just or. But it's something that we need to be able to do, right? We need to be able to do this in multiple keys. We need to be able to cross under in a way that we're not just beholden to where our thumb is going to land. We're real pianists, huh? Come on, let's try it. We'll start slow. I don't know why I went into that prison mic accent, but let's try it here. Key of G. One, 2, 3, and. Just hear it for now. We'll break it down in a second. To the wrong key. Still stuck in the other key. Going to be good for us, this one. This key is going to be good. One more time and we'll break it down a little bit. Okay, what's going on here? We have a 3, 6, 2, 5 in the key of G, right? So we start with our 3 chord, and again I have some Bud Powell root and half shell voicings here. Just like the other licks, we start here on the 5th of the 6th chord, the E7, a little flourish down to that 5th, and then we work our way down to the 3rd, the G sharp. And then, again, we go up this diminished, right? This G sharp diminished, because it's an E7 flat 9 chord. And then at the top of that is our flat 9, and we do a little, right? So a little enclosure to the A7, the 5 of A7, then we work our way back down to the 3rd of A7, and then we go up our A7 9 arpeggio, and then on the 13 of A7 there. What a great lick for our secondary dominant, our 2 chord, our 2 dominant 7 chord, right? Let's try it again. 1, 2, 1, 2. Play with me. And let's practice. One more time, we'll take it up. Stay with me, stay with me. Here we go. A little bit more. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, down. Woo. Feels good. It's so handy. I mean, honestly, how many times does this happen in tunes? I mean, it just happens all the time. Let's do a couple of more. Let's do 2 more tempos. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, and. You got it. Lighten up your touch here, lighten up your touch. As we get faster, you have to relax even more. One more time. Okay, one more tempo. Let's go for it. 260. Big kid tempo. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, and. You got it. One more time. That's it. That's the line. That's it. It's 2 bars and change of pure awesome from the amazing Bud Powell. Go listen to that to yourself. Oblivion. It's an amazing tune and an incredible solo. And if you have the ears for it, give it a nice transcribe on your own there. I think you won't be disappointed with what you get. It's all, the whole solo is like just line after line of gems just like this. And it's all beautiful bebop language that's just super clear and fun to play and just incredibly useful to incorporate even in a very modern context. So give it a shot. Give us a like and subscribe if you dig this video. Check out our Choose What You Pay. Oh, check out my camera just stopping. every time. Check out our Choose What You Pay on Bebop Enclosures for Beginners. It's a course where I deal with exactly this, arpeggios and enclosures and how to create a bebop sound kind of out of nothing. And it's a really popular course here at Open Studio. Thanks for your practice, y'all. I love spending this time with you. Everybody, all my peeps in America, have a great Thanksgiving. Enjoy your day off and your time with family and hopefully your delicious meal. Yeah. Thanks, everybody. There's that link there in the chat. Thank you, Ian. Thanks, Bruce and Nick and Alberto and Luke and Vinco. Thanks, everybody. This is really fun. Very, very cool. Thanks, everybody. Have a great rest of your day. Have a great holiday, everybody. Cool. See ya. Happy practicing. Bye.